It's the little things that rip you apart. It's the little things that get you caught.
Stranger Oddities show coming back to you with another film review. We're talking about the little things that just came out. I got wind of this movie. I was watching a trailer for it, and anytime Denzel Washington comes out with a new movie, I'm definitely interested in what he's doing. He's such a great actor. Does a lot of good movies. He's one of those actors where I can own a handful of his movies and just watch them all day. Really, really focused actor. I think he's phenomenal, and this movie is no exception. It's also got a couple other stars in it that I became more of a fan of theirs after this movie. So, not so much that one of them, we'll talk about this, where one of them is, and I don't know exactly how to pronounce his name, but I'll give it an old college try, Remy Malek. And when I first saw him, was actually in the TV series The Pacific. Which is the World War II film and everything. He plays a good character in that. I really thought his character stood out in it. So if you haven't seen him in that, check it out. But he's in it. He plays such a different character that I've never seen too many things. He's also the villain in the new Bond film, which I can't wait till that comes out so I can actually see that. Also with Jared Leto. I'll admit to you right away, I'm not the biggest fan of Jared Leto. I think I've never been such a big fan of his. But he does a phenomenal job in this movie. Now, this movie is a neo-noir crime type thriller, catch the serial killer kind of thing. So I'm already all in. I love those movies. Seven is one of my favorite movies in that genre. I love movies like Seven, Silence of the Lambs. Those kind of movies are just so intriguing to me. So this is definitely one of those. Directed by John Lee Hancock. He directed also The Highwaymen with Kevin Costner, Woody Harrelson, about the Texas Rangers that tracked down Bonnie and Clyde. Great movie, loved it. So John actually wrote the screenplay for this. According to what I read up on this actually started in the 90s when they were writing this. It was kind of proposed to Steven Spielberg, but he felt like it was a bit dark, and he didn't really want to do it. At one time, even Clint Eastwood was attached to this. But I'm glad it came around, and John Lee actually decided to direct it himself. So now finally here it is, 2021, and then we're presented with this really awesome film. So spoiler alert, really seriously, if you're going to think about watching this movie, I'll try not to really give too much of it away here because it really is one of those fantastic movies. Again, as a big fan of movies like Seven, I got to say this one almost takes the cake. It really almost top Seven, and that's hard for me to say because that's one of my favorite movies. So Denzel Washington plays character Deputy Sheriff Joe Deacon. He also goes by nickname Deke. He plays a really infamous cop that kind of has been. So he kind of gets shuffled on back to a different department and everything. I guess he had like a falling apart in where he was at, and I won't disclose. They do finally kind of go into his background a little bit, but you can totally tell like right away, like as the film starts getting going, that he's damaged goods. There's some emotional catastrophe with his character. Remy Baxter, he plays the character Detective Baxter, Remy Malek. So anyway, he at first you're kind of like, wow, is this guy kind of a jerk? What's his deal? But it gets started really quick. It got started really quick, and you just get sucked into this movie right away. They're hunting down this guy that's killing all these women, and it's horrible stuff. I mean, horribly done. So they're introducing you, and the way it's photographed, the way they're doing like some of the crime scenes and stuff like that, It gives you that feeling of like you're almost one of the detectives standing there in the room with it. So that was really interesting. And then how engrossed Denzel becomes with it. He just starts getting very, very obsessed with it, and you're wondering what is going on. As it turns out, he's kind of almost got like this feeling of like a connection to it. And so, of course, he's visiting his old stomping grounds. He's actually sent back there to retrieve some evidence for another case, and that's how he kind of gets trapped into this whole bit. So Jared Leto's character becomes somebody under suspicion, a person of interest, if you would, that they're saying, hey, this guy may have done it. And so he plays this character all so well. I think that they couldn't have picked a better guy to do it, really. And this is coming from somebody who really doesn't care for his acting. I don't really care for his films. I think he's a little like quirky and weird. But this time around, he really did a good job at it. The way he looks in it, because it has a meaning to the way he looks and the way he acts in it and his behavior in it. It has a really good meaning for it, where you kind of got to follow it. Again, I don't really want to disclose too much about the plot and the outcomes and stuff like that, because I really don't want anybody to get ruined by it, because it's a good film. I highly recommend watching it. It's excellent. And just put it this way, while I was in the theater watching this, and it was so cool because actually I was like one of the only people in there in this giant auditorium. It's wonderful. Just nobody else always go, so but I actually wanted to get up and go get some stuff from the concession stand. I didn't, because I was so engrossed with the film. I'm like, I can't get up. I can't leave this movie because what's going on. And another thing I liked about it was it has a running time of, let's see here, what is the running time on it? Let me look up the little stuff about it. Running time of 127 minutes, and which is great because this movie, you couldn't have been you couldn't have been a short movie. It needs to have a couple hours, and I'm glad this movie was a running time of at least a couple hours there. So, again, it brings you into it. You start wondering as they're tracking this guy and they're doing this stuff, and that once the character that Jared Leto plays, which is Albert Sparma, that's his character. Once they introduce him and stuff, and you start really following it. It shows you the effects of these detectives, these people tracking, the police involved, things they're seeing, the horrificness, the shock in it, and how consumed they become of it, and then how it starts affecting their decisions that they do. So, the title, actually, as bland as the title sounds, The Little Things, it actually does have so much relevance to the movie. There's so much connection to it. So I thought that was actually that's a decent title for it. And I'm trying to read here. There was something I read about it that who else was according to this, Clint Eastwood, Warren Beatty, and Danny DeVito were at some point attached to direct this thing. Looks like that was one time they were talking about that. The principal photography looks like it began actually in 2019 around Los Angeles, California and stuff. So they did have to hold on to this because of obviously all the stuff happening, But I think this was one of those good ones, and even Rotten Tomatoes apparently gave it a 47%. I don't even know why it's that low. But I thought it was a lot better than some of the other films like it. But again, that could just be because I'm biased against these kind of detective kind of tracking down, the killer thing again. But Jared Leto's character, I can't speak enough for it. I know he had quoted saying that he feared that he was going to ruin the movie with his way he acts or whatever, for whatever reason. But I think he did the movie the best justice he could have, because that character that he plays needed somebody that was going to be very, very unnerving when you see them. To call that almost judgment call, if you would, judging the book by its cover. But then in the end of this film, you really start to question what is right, what was wrong, was the outcome, was the actions of certain people the right actions to take. So again, this is going to be one of those that's definitely going to linger. It is a film that even I, at this point, want to watch it again. This is not one of those movies where if you watch it once, it's over. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, you saw this great magic trick, but then Penn and Teller told you how it was done, and so it's over. You don't want to watch it again. This is a movie where you could probably spend many, many times viewing it and trying to pick up all of those little things.